Alright, welcome back to All Cars, y'all. I am John, and it's time for another Motorweek Retro Review reaction video. And this is the 1988 BMW 735i. And I'm ready to dig into this one because I've got a lot to say about it. First off, this is by popular request. This means that there was an outpouring from one person who requested this. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the interaction in my comments. Number two, I'm going to say before we get started here, if I sound a little bit different, if you've noticed the background's changed just a little bit, we just had the floor replaced in our house, and I'm still, well, I don't know where some of the books are. So we're still putting things back together here. So let's get into it, guys. I'm excited to see this one.
Motorweek is made possible by Lucas Oil and TireRack.com.
And if you don't own a new car, well, I guess this is a good time for a new car road test. Our subject is the BMW 735i. It's all new, and next to its aggressive looks, the thing people notice most about it is its price, nearly $50,000. You know, there's just something about a round total of $50,000 that seems so much more outrageous than, say, $47,000. So the obvious question is, just what does BMW give you for your 50 grand?
All right, so let's talk about this for a minute. 1988, this is before Lexus hit the world, honestly. And if you've ever watched any of my videos before, I'm not a huge fan of BMW. They alternate between being one of my top choices and being one of my bottom choices. I think that Mercedes is more stately and has more prestige. Personally, I think that Jaguars are beautiful and have a deep history I really love. I think at least contemporary Audis are beautiful. And BMW, I don't know, they're okay, and honestly they are some of the best driving cars I've ever had the pleasure of sitting behind the wheel of. I do love them, and that's kind of why they jump up to the top of my list sometimes of cars I would spend my own money on, because they're just a joy to live with on a day-to-day basis. But almost anything else out there is more desirable from a styling perspective, from a value proposition. This, however, is back when BMW, they hit it with the 3 Series, with the 2002, and then the 3 Series, they set a styling direction, and everything was just variations of the same style. And this is just the biggest of that style. I would never choose a 7 Series any more than I would choose a Mercedes S-Class. They're just too big. I don't want to pilot one on a day-by-day basis. However, this is a beautiful car. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I will say it's amazing. This is 1988, so this is 34 years old. It still looks good. It is still a handsome car. Classic lines, honestly. I think I'd prefer the Mercedes, but this is a good-looking car. This is when when BMW was at the peak of their game, and I'm excited to hear more.
You get every bit as much car as you would from the maker of that other popular German luxury sedan.
And let me just interrupt here. Look how restrained that grille is. When you look at modern BMWs and the huge, walrus teeth they've got on it, this is elegant and restrained.
And the BMW 735i is better looking too. Even if you aren't impressed by its get-out-of-the-way boldness, the BMW 735i is still a harmonious work of Teutonic sculpture, a sculpture that mates today's wind-cutting efficiency with yesterday's practicality. And unlike so many new models, the 735i still has drip moldings. They keep rainwater from ending up on your head and the seats. Speaking of which, things look pretty familiar inside, just a bit more contemporary than the previous 735i.
So, good-looking interior. There's a few things here that jump out at me as just screaming how old it actually is. But these interiors, I know they changed over the years, guys, but they held up so well. They did variations of the same theme, but, a little... There's not a lot of, I guess, elegance to these interiors, right? When you think about like Jaguar, for example, very Teutonic, but a little bit of wood, high quality materials, and good layout, right? You've got the bin right here, you've got the HVAC, you've got the radio, big vents, looks like a lot of little buttons there, right? Emergency brake where God intended. The thing that really jumps out at me is just how much plastic there is, and there's not a lot of variation in materials other than that fake wood, and that gear shifter. I mean, that could have come off of an 83 Camaro as far as I was concerned. A little bit of a letdown right there, but other than that, a functional, not beautiful, but almost timeless interior. Really, really well done overall. Now, that being said, fans of the channel know I don't like all black interior, so I would like a little bit of lightness and brightness and airiness to this, but still, I'll take it the way it is.
You can choose from any of 6 upholstery colors, and the bottom half of the dash is actually finished in that color. We recommend any color but black for making the interior a pleasant place to live. And for staying alive, you get BMW's supplemental restraint system, which has a driver's side airbag. Because of the bag, the steering wheel is not adjustable, but you still get a good view of the large instruments. While there are no readouts for oil pressure or volts, there is a check control warning system that covers every malady you can think of. The 735i seats are a little on the firm side, but you get used to them. It helps that there's a 3-position memory for all of the seats adjustments, and the mirrors also adjust to match the seats. For ventilation, the 735i has separate climate controls for the driver and the passenger. The system works automatically, but the driver controls the fan speed. Everything in the 735i is less than half an arm's reach away, the radio especially, and it's easier to use than the ones in some other German cars. Our only complaint here is poor reception from the rear window mounted antenna.
Yeah, I'd like to jump in there about that HVAC system. Interesting. I mean, this is 1988. You know, think about this. Cadillac's still developing the North Star. The LS isn't out. And they have a dual zone climate control. Now, it's a little primitive. I do not miss the rotary dial to set the temperature. You know, I'm ready for the digital to arrive. That was good. And having one fan speed that the driver controls, that's interesting. But really cutting edge at the time. And I mean, that's what these 7 Series, S Series, S Class, right? That's what these are supposed to do, is introduce that new technology. Really interesting they have it. I don't know why that jumped out at me.
Trip computer is an advancement we prefer. For winter driving, it sounds a warning when you encounter black ice. And while we're on the subject of electronics, the 735i's 4-speed automatic is controlled electronically. There are 3 shift programs: manual, sport, and economy. The gear and programs are displayed on the dash. Unfortunately, the gear readouts on the shifter don't light up at night. A 5-speed manual is also available. And when you shift into reverse, the right side mirror automatically drops down to give you a view of what's immediately behind you. A nice touch. The rear seat offers plenty of head and leg room and 3-point shoulder belts for the outboard passengers. And there's also a window shade to keep the ultraviolets to a minimum.
Wait. I gotta go back to that. So the outboard passenger actually goes this way and locks at the door, not from the outside pillars in. I've never seen that before, or at least I've never noticed it before. That is really fascinating.
Shoulder belts for the outboard passengers. And there's also a window shade to keep the ultraviolets to a minimum. But we did find 2 flaws inside: a poorly attached section of otherwise lovely wood trim, and a flimsy plastic ashtray. Perhaps the latter is just a sign of the times. And for those times when you have to travel with luggage, there's a wide, flat trunk and an unfortunately high sill. Also, the now familiar BMW toolkit. And at the other end is BMW's excellent 3.4-liter fuel-injected 6-cylinder. It's pretty much the same engine that was in the previous 735i, but it's been modified to pump out more power. Horses are up to 208. Torque is impressive too, now at 225 pound-feet. The little bit of vibration produced is kept to a minimum with hydraulic motor mounts.
Exceptional engine, really great engine. These cars made me appreciate inline sixes. Honestly, they did. Good engine, good numbers for the time. Really good numbers for the time. Let's see how the performance.
Maybe that's one reason why the 735i doesn't feel like it goes as quickly as it really does. 0 to 60 took a scant 9.5 seconds, but felt longer. Power builds slowly and comes up most at higher engine speed. Transmission shifts are smooth enough to go unnoticed. And quarter-mile times are good at 17.2 seconds with a speed of 83. Things should pick up even more when the V12 version of the 735i shows up next spring.
Funny thing, I've said it before, those numbers, they talk very highly about them. And it's funny, the 30 some odd years of progress that we've had where basically every EV at any price range accelerates faster than that. My 4-cylinder Honda Accord is faster than that. But it's how it produces the power. It's interesting to see the march of time. But for its time, solid numbers.
And in handling, this 735i's 2 tons of weight nearly goes unnoticed too. Body lean is well controlled and transitions from side to side are smooth. Aggressive maneuvers are met with a touch of scrub from the front end, and the back end stays solidly put unless you abruptly lift off the gas. Our only complaint here is with the 735i steering. Its electronically controlled power assist varies with speed. In hard turns at moderate speeds, the assist decreases too much and makes the steering suddenly very heavy, just when you don't want it to be. Electronic controls are put to better use in the 735i's all-disc brakes. They're of the anti-lock variety, as so many luxury cars are now, and haul the BMW down from 55 with a distance average of 108 feet. Very short.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, this is 1988 brakes. They just said 2 tons of car, 108. That is absolutely amazing. I've said relatively recently on this channel, that watching a lot of these, you realize that 115 is kind of that magic number. 115 and less is really good. A little bit longer than that starts to get a little low. 115, 108, fantastic. That's really impressive.
And on the highway, the 735i delivers a compliant, if firm, ride. Interior sound is a very quiet 64 decibels. And fuel economy for our car was also a pleasant surprise. Despite EPA ratings of 14 city and 19 highway, we managed a much better 22. So even though the 735i may not deserve its $1,050 gas guzzler tax, it does deserve high marks for exterior fit and finish and a solid airtight feel. That tops our list of hits, followed by performance, luxury, passenger room, and high-tech convenience features. As for misses, we don't like the 735i's variable power steering, limited radio reception, or the quality of some of its interior fittings. In our safety check, the 735i passes all points with front passive restraints, rear shoulder belts, 5-mile-per-hour bumpers, and radial tires all standard. As for comparison to equal highbrow competition, we found the Jaguar XJ6 we tested last year to be slower than the 735i. It has less interior headroom too, but is more luxurious overall.
So let me just say that if it was 1988, looking at a new car, there's no way I would pick the Jaguar. I wouldn't trust it. Old platform, somewhat tight inside, just, old approach. And I don't love the front styling of the Jaguar, and the trunk's not really large for the size of the car. The BMW is by far better. However, in modern day, looking back, I'd much rather have the Jaguar. I think it's just a little bit more prestigious, personally. I know the BMW is a better car, don't flame me for that, but for personally having a car to tinker with and drive on the weekends, the Jaguar would win for me.
The Mercedes 560 SEL, on the other hand, costs more than the 735i, is less nimble in traffic, but is considered more prestigious.
And between the two of these, I would take the Mercedes, both then and now. I just think it's an exceptional vehicle, one of the better ones built. Not the best, perhaps, Mercedes, but one of the better ones. And I think it exudes that prestige. I really do. The BMW is amazing. Just think I like the Mercedes a little bit more.
But getting back to tangibles, the $50,000 BMW 735i is nearer perfection than ever before. And even with a few flaws, we predict it could sell for thousands more.
Really, really interesting. The fact is I don't think everybody really realized, maybe they did at that time, just what a special time it was for BMW. When they give it compliments for the technology, the advanced technology, we can look back at it now and just kind of laugh. But that was a special car. And basically everything BMW was doing at that time was special. The 3 Series, the 5, the 7, they were awesome. They really, really were. And they were, at their time, they were modern classics. They really were. Really fascinating to watch. From a modern perspective, almost everything is a little underwhelming, right? Where's the infotainment? Where's the Apple CarPlay? Where's the driver assistance features? Oh my gosh. But it's special for its moment. And the fact is a well-maintained one. If you got in it today, you would, depending on what you're coming out of, what you drove on an everyday basis from my Accord, or if you drive a Tesla or whatever it is, if you get in that BMW, there's going to be an essence of machinery, of movement, of being part of the driving experience that BMW and all other manufacturers have largely lost. This is, I'm not trying to gush too much, because I've already said that if I right now was to go buy a 1988 large luxury car, this would be third probably. And I'm not sure I would have chosen it back then. I think there's other things I would have chosen more. But these BMWs felt so good. And I don't want to gush. I don't want to give them too much credit where it's not due, but those were classics in their time. And that was a special, special Motor Week Retro Review to watch. Let me know your thoughts below, guys. I appreciate you being here.